backhanded compliment ever? Like, let's say you're doing your schoolwork and someone says, "Oh wow, that's so great, you're so smart," for a girl. It's phrased to seem like a compliment, but the underlying message is problematic. This happens all the time, and here are some instances from daily life. So, many people like playing video games, right? Well, I have a friend who loves playing video games, but imagine playing games when you're a girl, constantly getting targeted, people making rude comments like, "You can't play this game," or, "Oh no, a girl's on our team, we'll lose for sure." This is very rude and obviously inaccurate. This is what we call a microaggression. Another example of this is Serena Williams. She's a world-renowned tennis player and ranked #1 in singles by the Women's Tennis Association, but she's often bashed for being a female person of color. According to an article written by the New York Times, she's been called hypermasculine, unattractive, and scary to look at, completely disregarding her talents. What's sad, it was really easy for me to find these people and their stories, which makes it very clear how prevalent microaggressions are. So, what exactly are microaggressions? Well, Google defines it as a term used for commonplace, daily verbal, behavioral, or environmental slights, whether intentional or unintentional, and communicates hostile, derogatory, or negative attitudes towards stigmatized or culturally marginalized groups. But to put it simply, microaggressions are stereotyping people, but in a way that's not as obvious. Now you may be thinking, who cares? Why should we care? If it's almost undetectable, then it's not important, right? But that's exactly what the issue is, because this allows people to keep on saying these problematic things. Not only that, but microaggressions can really impact your mental health. Constantly hearing negative things like, "You can't do this," or "Maybe you aren't really fit for this," can really get to you. Microaggressions can also deter you from doing what you love. Many women might want to become athletes or join STEM-based careers, but they don't get the chance to do that due to everyone constantly doubting women's capabilities. Only 35 out of 100 women are students in STEM. Only 19% are in computer sciences, 19% in engineering, 37% in mathematical sciences, and 39% in physical sciences. So, what are the different types of microaggressions? Currently, there are 3 types of microaggressions: microassault, microinsult, and microinvalidations. According to the UNH Advance, microassaults include things like name-calling, being rude or discriminatory, and are usually done on purpose. Microinsults are more subtle and impolite remarks that are difficult to detect. And microinvalidations are done to invalidate one's feelings, as the name implies. Microaggressions can really lead to several psychological disorders and make you feel very bad about yourself, or negative self-esteem and low self-confidence. There are also many impacts of microinvalidations. If someone were to say, "Wow, I didn't expect you to be this good," it leaves you feeling confused and a little offended. You may feel like, "Oh, was I being overly sensitive?" Like maybe they didn't mean it badly, but it makes it very hard for you to stand up for yourself, and you often feel not seen. Verbal microaggressions aren't the only type, though. Let's say there's an interviewer who's asking a few doctors some questions on a cure for a new illness. The interviewer completely disregards the female doctor. They don't ask her any questions, they cut her off and pretend like she's not even there. This is just as harmful, it's just not as obvious. Now, what do we do if someone does this to us? Well, you could ask them to elaborate or ask them to talk more about what they meant so you can detect the issue. If someone were to say something problematic, you could ask them, "What did you mean by this?" Or, "Could you repeat what you said?" Or, "Can you please elaborate more on this?" And if you notice that what they said is problematic, you can say something like, "Hey, when you said this, it made me feel this," or "Why do you feel that way?" Or "Next time you shouldn't say this because this." And when we can pinpoint the problem, it makes it easier for us to educate people nicely. This is a real problem and we must solve it. If we don't, we won't be able to live in an inclusive society. So, we need to spread awareness and be more mindful. If we notice our minds wandering to any preconceived notions about a certain group of people, changing how we see that and respond to that can really help. So what role will you play in recognizing and eliminating microaggressions? Thank you.